Now at Mickey D's, when you buy any crispy chicken sandwich or Quarter Pounder with cheese, you'll get a free medium fry and free medium drink when you order on the app. So, do you have the app? How you going to get this deal if you don't have the app? I know you have a phone. Anywho, if you have the app, enjoy your free fries and drink. If you don't, you can't see me, but know that I'm shaking my head. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Limited time only. I participate in McDonald's. Valid one time per day. Visit McDonald's app for details. Download and registration required.
What's up, guys? It's Chloe Culpepper, marketing coordinator for the Westwood Collective, and I'm here today at the Junction in Old Hilliard. The Junction in Old Hilliard offers flexible office space for all your small business needs, 24/7 co-working memberships, and affordable private offices with reservable conference rooms, daily refreshments, and shared amenities. Work, meet, network. Visit us at junction614.com. That's junction614.com to learn more.
Welcome to the Unscripted podcast. My name's Corby LaCroix, and the song you're hearing right now is called Great and Mighty One, available on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your music. But for now, recording from the Unscripted studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard, here's your host and my friend, Aaron Conrad.
Great Redeemer, God of grace.
All right, everybody, welcome to Unscripted from my studios in Old Hilliard. And speaking of Old Hilliard, today's special. Like I've been chasing this interview for a very, very long time, and I'm excited. I can't wait. As always, I'm excited to interview my guest today. So let me go ahead and let my guest introduce herself, and we'll go from there.
So I am Jen Hoening. I'm married to my high school sweetheart for 20 years. We have 3 kids, a senior, a freshman, and a 4th grader. I do a lot of different things. The main thing I do is I have my own business, Little Bean Embroidery. I've had that. This is my 13th year of doing that. I actually just moved out to a studio space outside of my home. I had the business in my home for 12 years. I worked out of there, and the pandemic just kind of pushed things a little bit further than we were thinking, and I'm here now, which is great. I also, the other big thing I do is I run a page on Facebook called Faces of Hilliard. And Aaron, you were actually a spotlight way back in the beginning.
Way back.
Yeah, and I'm not great. I'm good with numbers, like math-wise, but like numbers when it comes to like dates and what time. It was when you were at your other business, and I think when you first started there. So was that 5-ish years ago? Or maybe more?
Yeah, time flies. And you've also had my bride on.
Yes, that's right. I did.
As well.
Yeah.
So it's a family affair. We've both been on.
Both of the Conrads. So it's been but I spotlight people in Hilliard. I love Hilliard. I think we could like go in a battle of who loves Hilliard more. Like we won't battle. We'll combine together, but we want to make right. Hilliard famous, right? So yeah, we love our little town and just supporting it, and so yeah, I think that's the gist of me. The main things. I have a lot of other little things that I do here and there and that pop up, and I start and then I let go of, and I have lots of ideas in my brain.
You do, and it's one of my favorite things about you is because I'm the same way. So, and I think we both follow each other on all the socials and all that stuff, and so we're always seeing what the next one is doing. And certainly, by no means, as you said, I think it's more of a. It's almost like I'm not really good with the whole Marvel universe and DC comics and whatever else, but when they all combine. Right. Like whatever movie that was, when they all came together, it's kind of cool. And so I think that's the same thing. Like we're coming together to because we love this town and we love what this city has done for us in our families, and it's a wonderful city, and we just want everybody else to know about it. So very cool. All right, so behind me on video, you can just see a very small corner of it, but I have a gift from you that you gave me, and I love my gifts. They mean the world to me, and they're special. And you made a pillow for me out of a T-shirt. So let's start, because we do have a lot of things that you do. Let's start with that one, because that's the biggest one. And behind you is a T-shirt quilt. You made one for our daughter. So let's talk about your business. Let's start with that.
So can I tell you the story about the pillow first? Because it just makes me giggle. So I have my own unscripted shirt. I almost wore it today, but I'm like, I don't know if that's super weird, but I'm a graphic tee junkie. Like with the t-shirt quotes I do, I love seeing them all, and I'm a big thrifter. So I think it was when I came out to my studio in, maybe March, April, May, June, July-ish is when we were getting ready to come out here. But I found that shirt that's on that pillow at a thrift store, and
You found an unscripted shirt at a thrift store?
So it's cracked me up because it's amazing what I find. But then I'm like, who bought this and isn't wearing it? You know, like, why is it here? And I had to save it. Like, that's one of my things. So, and then I'm like,
I didn't know that.
Well, I wanted to wait to tell you on your podcast. So whoever donated it, they gifted you with that too. So, but I still have my.
Well, that's fantastic, because I don't know if I should thank them or be insulted.
Well, either way, though,
that
they invested. Yeah, they invested in buying it, and then for whatever reason, but it ended up back to you. So it's all whole circle, right? I found
that's right. Ha ha ha! I got it. So if you got rid of it on a bad reason, I got it. So,
and I was there at the thrift store at the right time, and I was like, I know this, but mine's the baby blue, because we're Darby and the North Carolina for you. So I'm like, mine. So I'm like, I didn't need two. So I'm like, this is going to go right back to Aaron. So yeah. That's
so
the story
awesome.
of the pillow.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That pillow means even more to me now. And I don't know if it's a driver for me that someone actually dumped it, or if I should take it as a compliment. I'm not sure, but now that pillow means even more to me. So thank you.
Doesn't it make you wonder, like, what the story is? Like, maybe it was the wrong size. Maybe someone wasn't wearing it, and the spouse threw it out. Like, we'll never know. But it ended up back exactly where it belongs. So.
That's right. It returned home, and I love that even more. I have a whole list of people that probably dumped it, and that's fine too. So either way, that's awesome. I love it. It has a story now. It has an even better story now. I love it. Thank you for that. That's so cool.
Yeah. So
very cool. So your business. Let's talk about your business.
Like I said, I'm in my 13th year. I don't do the math. The reason I started the business is when my middle child was born. So he's a freshman now. He's 14. We got a gift from church, which was actually Northwest, which I think is where you and I originally connected.
Might be, yeah.
And then my oldest and your middle were in a preschool class together. So we just have all these little ways that we've connected. And I'm like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. But like we've been connected for a while. But anyways, we got a gift for him with his name on it, and his name is Cohen. So it's unique. It's not totally weird, but it's not something you're going to find at the store on a keychain. And as parents, you know, we put so much effort and thought into the names we give our children, and so like to get something with his name, it was a burp cloth and a blanket, and I just like fell in love with that. And who I am as a person, I'm just a very crafty, my brain never ends person. And I laugh because I'm like, back then when I got that, I was like, I couldn't like spend $15-20 to have someone else make it. I was like, I'm going to go buy an embroidery machine for $800, you know, like, cause I want to make these on my own. And it was like the very, very lowest end, like, let's just see what I think about this. So I got that machine, and I quickly upgraded from that one. Like, I was enjoying it so much, and then people started ordering things, and I started making things. And receiving gifts is one of my love languages, to receive, but it's also to give. Like, usually your love language, you receive it and give it well. So I love giving gifts, like even your pillow. Like, I'm like, this was meant to be here, and I was, you know, it's just as much meaning for me to give stuff, and then to make it makes it even more special for me. Not that I don't mind gift cards and things like that. Like I love any gift, but I think when things are handmade, it's just a little bit extra love, and it's a little extra special. So anyways, that's how it all started, really, with that burp cloth with Cohen's name, and it just grew and grew. And you know, then I got a website, and then I was one of the last people on earth to have like a smartphone and had to have Facebook. And now I'm totally absorbed in it, which is fine. That's kind of the generation that I'm in. I laugh because I'm like a Facebook person, and you do the modern stuff, like the TikTok and what's the Twitter, and you're good at that. Like, I can't handle lots. I can't handle much more in my brain, but the Facebook, I feel like I do well with my marketing, and
Right.
Instagram, I've just started picking that up a little bit because you can connect them now. So I'm like, oh, it's a one-stop shop. But so yeah, and I started off just doing embroidery, and then I've done the T-shirt quilts and memory quilts. I don't just use T-shirts. I can do clothing, baby clothes. There's not many materials that I have to turn away. I've done things with uniforms. There's a scarf in one that I have over here. There's Girl Scout stuff. There's jerseys. There's dry weave. I can do. I've been wanting to do a reel about that. Like, I'm learning how to do the pointing things. Like, and I want to do like a T-shirts. Yes, like all the things. But that'll take time and energy. Anyways, but I started doing that. I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, and that's just kind of blossomed. And I love it. I almost always have at least 5 to 10 quilt orders, which is just a blessing.
Wow.
Christmas and graduation are my extra busy seasons, but I'm always busy. I laugh when people say, "Oh, I'll bring it when you're not busy," and I said, "No, just bring it because you want to get in line."
Right.
Yeah. But I love that I get to touch every single shirt. Like, it's memories, whether it's, someone their first year of life clothes and they bring the baby clothes, or if I get several memory quilts where people have passed.
Right.
It's emotional. I've had many tears myself making them, many tears when people come to pick them up. It's just awesome. And I love how the community has supported me. Not only Hilliard, but, like a 30-mile radius. I love when people go on the mom pages and the town pages and they say, who do you recommend to make a quilt? And my name is mentioned more than not. And that it warms my heart that my name's out there and just known as a good person who I care what I do. I put love into everyone. I want to touch every single shirt that comes through. There are people that ask, do you have anyone that works with you? And even my husband, you need to get someone to work for you. And I'm like, I want to touch every single one. Like, this is special to me. I don't want to be a company with giant machines and what's it called? Yes, that. I don't want that. Like, I'm sitting on the floor with these. I'm visually laying them out. It's fun. So.
Well, we live in a time where Amazon, it's so unpersonal. It's quick. Right. It's quick. Right. I can get something probably this afternoon if I want it. I can get my lunch if I want it. But it's so we've lost the personal. Yeah. So you're a bit of a throwback to a time when things were personal. You do take these personal. And again, and I'm speaking as someone we've ordered things from you. My daughter, who is now at Grace College, has a blanket that was made from her old. Just an example, her old T-shirts from. A variety of things when she was a senior in high school. They pulled all these T-shirts that she wasn't going to wear anyway, but they're still meaningful. I think we all have those. We all have some T-shirt some concert we attended, or whatever it might be. We all have that T-shirt or those T-shirts in our drawer that we just can't let go of. But we maybe don't fit anymore. Thank you, COVID, or whatever it might be, or they're just not wearable anymore. But they mean something, and so that's why I know for Emma that was so powerful for her when we opened that box, and all those ones that we just threw in a box and took to you. You turned this into this beautiful masterpiece of something she's always going to have, and in each one she can tell a story. Exactly. So it's such a cool concept because she can say, "Oh, I was in this event," or "I did this," or she can point to those shirts, but she can take it all in one canvas. Right. I think is it's so cool.
And what I love is that it's you're reusing it. It's it's like we're not throwing. I mean, it's fine to donate things, but it's not ending up in a landfill. It's not ending up in a box in your basement for 20 years. It's something that you can actually use. You can. Whether you have it folded on your bed or you have it hanging on the wall, whether you actually use it, whether you take it where you go. I actually have a senior this year, and she's on my list, but I haven't quite started it because it's emotional. It will be good, but I told her, I said, we need to get all your things together, and I want to make sure we have the safety town, and make sure we have the HOSA, and make sure we have tennis, and vacations, and just all the memories. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And like you said, concerts. I have a couple in here with Taylor Swift in them, and just all the different, like the elementary, middle school. I get all kinds, and it's so fun and just to see everybody's interests and talents. Like I had one that was like a not mountain bike, maybe four-wheeling or something, but every shirt was like it's people's passions and what they love, and I love that too. Right. I love knowing the little nitty-gritty details about people, and even if I only know this person they come in, they drop their shirts off, they come in and pick it off, I still feel like I'm a teeny tiny part of their life, and that I get to use my talents to make this tangible memory for them that they can like touch and feel. And especially with people with memory quilts, people who have loved ones that have passed, that gets me really like, I hate that there's a reason to make it, but I love that I get to be part of that healing and that remembering.
That's so awesome. It's personal. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's very personal, and it's not just quilts, right? You do a lot of other things. Again, I have a pillow that apparently
and the pillows. The pillows I don't do as much. If I find shirts that I like, I actually do a thing called Pillows with Purpose. It hasn't taken off as much as I thought. I get all these grand ideas, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be the next amazing thing, and then it kind of flops. But if I want to do it, I'm still going to do it. I am a awesome person that, like, if something's in my head and it's not leaving, I'm going to try it. And if it works for a season, it works for a season. If it doesn't, that's okay. I tried it, which I think, you're doing right now. I admire people who just try it. And it doesn't have to be a big multi-million-dollar thing. Like, I'm not trying. That's not the point of my business, like, at all. But anyways, the Pillows with Purpose, what I was doing is selling them for $15, and then $5 of that is going towards like just a gift card that I keep in my purse that I hand out to random people. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just little tiny acts of kindness, even if that's letting someone in front of me in a drive-through line, or like, just, you never know what anybody's going through, and what that one little thing you can do, what ripple that's going to cause, what butterfly effect that's going to cause. So that's where I'm with the pillows. That's what I tried to do. Now, I haven't done a lot of them, only because I have lots of t-shirt quilt orders, and then moving out to the shop was like pretty much moving an entire house over here. So, getting into routine, but I do, embroidery on burp cloths and bibs. Most of the items I have here at my store, so you can see what I have on my website. Sometimes people will bring stuff to me. I have blankets. I make key fobs. That's one of my favorite things that I make. I have tons and tons of fabric, so I can personalize pretty much anything. I do it's a beach towel or a pool towel or a bath towel or an anything towel, but I do applique letters on there, kind of a mix match. But if you're like, I want a gray towel with Disney fabric, then I will do that. That's awesome. I don't know if I'm allowed to say Disney on here without getting dinged or whatever. But and I'm just always sorry. I'll get you a towel for that.
No, you didn't. We'll equal each other out.
Yeah. One of my newest things I found, it's a hanging dish towel that, like, it doesn't have buttons or snaps, and it's just like this fun little towel. So now I'm like making all those for all the holidays. Like, I actually use the scraps from the backs of shirts that I don't use, and I make yarn out of it, and I crochet rugs out of them. So, like, that's another thing.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, my brain, it's I say it's a beautiful, messy place, and I use it to create, is what I do. So
You do. Well, and I follow it. So before we move on, because I do want to talk a little bit about that. Before we move on, where can people find you, your website? Let's put out all those links right now while we've talked about that. And let's do that right now. What are the links? So how can people find you?
Through Little Bean Embroidery, Little Bean Embroidery. Embroidery is spelled kind of weird, but I know you guys can do it. It's just littlebeanembroidery.com. And then that's the same for Facebook and Instagram. It's all the same, Little Bean Embroidery. Those are the main places. I know we talked a little bit about Faces of Hilliard. I'm doing that on Instagram now too. So that's Facebook and Instagram, because I finally figured out how to link those. I don't have a website for that, but Little Bean has the website. So those are the main two things. And then my Little Bean email is Jen with one N, Jen, at Little Bean Embroidery. Faces of Hilliard is facesofhilliard@gmail.com. If you guys know anyone in Hilliard that's doing great things, big or small, or just, someone that you notice that works at Kroger, or someone that's at the library, or just a teacher, somebody who just put some spark into the city, you can nominate them. There's a lot of great people here doing a lot of good things.
Hey everyone, my name is Cammie Prannell and I'm the Executive Director for My Unscripted. We hope you are enjoying today's interview. My Unscripted is dedicated to helping others find their voice, passion, and follow their dreams. Our team can help create websites, apps, YouTube channels, podcasts, media, and social content. Whatever your passion and vision, we can help. Our good friend Manny Ahome of Samaritan's Feet once said, "Make sure your dreams and goals are big enough to create room for others to join you." We've created room for you to join us too. Find out more at myunscripted.com. Now let's join Aaron for the second half of today's interview.
One of my favorite things about you as a person is you're real. I think you actually have a hashtag real life, Jen, and you didn't even know this is coming. Welcome to Unscripted. You have a, I don't want to say passion. You just have a authenticity that did you like how I said that? That was really cool. Let me say that again. Authenticity. That's really cool. Anyway, that's why I think we're cut from the same cloth. No pun intended for the business that you have. But you have a very real authenticity, where you share, I think we all know social media, filters, and I can make my life look awesome if I want. And I can make people buy a story that is not necessarily true. Some of it's true, enough true that I can post it. But, so I say all that because what I appreciate about you on socials particularly is how real you are. And I think, like I said, I think you have a hashtag for how real you are. What drove you to do that? Yeah. And, please don't stop with doing that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for seeing that and noticing that. I intentionally do that. And I also just do it because it is too exhausting to be who I'm not. So I'm just, my whole Be You thing. I actually used to have a podcast. I don't know if you know that, before the pandemic. And it was called hashtag Be You, the podcast with Jen Hoening, I think is what it was called. And then again, that was a season of my life where, I love podcasts. I'm a podcast junkie. Especially at work, I always have to have something going on in my ears, whether it's a podcast, music, listening to Marco Polo's, because my head is so squirrely without some direction. And sometimes it can go down places I don't want it to. So I have learned many, many, many tools, along with my counselor, to keep my head in a good place. And it's not always there. I'm being real right here. But with social media specifically, how old am I? 42? I think I'm almost 43. But I feel like I'm a Facebook generation person. The old people are on Facebook, so but that's where my spot is. So that's where I put my word out. I don't know exactly where it started. Again, that's part of my time space continuum where I don't exactly know. But when I was 30, I started going to counseling because I had everything that I had always wanted in life. I was married. I had babies. I was getting to stay at home. I wasn't, I was crafting by then too. But I had everything I had always ever dreamed and wanted. And if someone ever said to me what's your problem? Not that anyone said this to me, but in my head, why are you not happy? Why are you not, I don't know exactly what the words are, but why are you not the best you can be? Because you have everything you've always wanted and dreamed of since I was little, So that's when I started going to counseling at 30. And in the next couple of years, realizing, so I've been in counseling for 13 years. I've had a couple different counselors. I finally found my one who I connect with, and the other two were fine for the moment. But the one I have now, she's I want to shrink her and put her in my pocket. Yeah. I love her so much. And she's just one of my people. And so it was that time when I just became really aware of I've done everything I wanted to, and I'm still not where I want to be. What can I do? And I'm still working on it. Honestly, it is a forever thing. I will not be fixed tomorrow. I will not be fixed in a year. I am continuously growing and learning about myself. But anyways, I was eventually diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and that was good for me to know what was going on. Like, I'm not just a crabby, grumpy
right.
B word all the time. There's chemical reasons behind this. There's things that have happened in my life that have contributed to this. Life is hard. Life is complex. Life is, I'm an introvert. I'm an empath. I'm highly sensitive. You put all that together, and Absolutely. You are a lot of those as well. And we are cut from the same cloth. In fact, that's crossed my mind before you even said it today. Like, yeah, we might not be cookie cutter, but we are definitely cut from the same cloth. And, so I think we relate. That's why I love your podcast so much. You know, I love listening to your stories and your journey, and you're good at connecting with people, which is another gift that I think that I have that I'm going to use. But I want to say around when I was actually, you know, specifically diagnosed with the anxiety and depression, it like went on my files, however that works. I think I did a post just kind of just saying that and just saying how it was like just this freeing, like finally, like I can, you know, like I have brown hair, I have blue eyes, and I have anxiety and depression. And like, it just made me feel like I was okay. Like I'm okay, and I'm going to be okay. And there's support out here, and there's other people like me, and it's hard, right. And we can do hard things, you know? And I had a lot of feedback from that, just a lot of support, a lot of Me Too's, a lot of, you're brave, I'm proud of you, which I love all that stuff. But I'm going to do that without it anyways. Cause like I said earlier, it is too exhausting to be who I'm not. And, it's mentally draining. It's physically draining. And like I told you before we started talking, like I'm okay right in this moment. I was excited to come on your podcast. I was like, you know, awake 2 hours before my alarm went off. Cause I'm like, oh, I get to talk to Aaron today. And then wondering, like, where's it going to go? Because my brain is, like, a total tangent. And I know unscripted. But, like, I literally, Anyways. But I was excited. But then last night I was crying hard. I was poloing a good friend of mine, Arminda, who I know her through you. Which, again, is one of those things where I thought I had just known her from Northwest. But she's like, no, I knew you from the blogs. Because I used to have a blog. You have your blog that you're on occasionally. Right. She had a blog. So and Arminda's much better with knowing like dates and times and where people connected. And she's like, no, I met you through Aaron. I don't know I don't know exactly which one, but so thank you for that because she is one of my dearest friends. And, I just lost my train of thought. I'm also currently being tested for ADHD. Which I believe I genuinely have. It presents a lot different in women as children. So, like, my parents didn't think a thing of it when I was little. I didn't think anything of it when I was little. I actually used to teach before I had kids. So, like, I even in that world of, like, education and, like, development and things. And, like, it wasn't until later that just some friends and things. And I'm like, this would explain a lot.
I think as we were growing up, we live in a different time, good and bad. Yeah. Good and bad. And the good is that things are finally being labeled and identified. When we were growing up, we were just kids that couldn't pay attention in class. And I don't want to speak for you. For me, it was couldn't pay attention in class, a dreamer, a blah, blah, blah. There were not, if I would have known what I know now, but you know what? That was God's plan and that was God's timing. But if I would have known I was OCD, I wear the same color shoes and clothes. I am obsessive compulsive. I know that about myself and God knows that my wife, Heather, knows that as well. I am ADHD. I can't pay attention for more than, which is hilarious in a podcast, but I literally, my attention span is really not that long. And you know, there's those things now where we know what that means. And
Right.
when we were growing up, we didn't. We just thought we were weird or a million other things, when the reality is there are people, and we could go back and if you want to Google it, that are people that are OCD, people that world and game changing people that were OCD, dyslexic, ADHD, all these things that we have now. Go Google those and look at some of the names, because you're not some crazy person. You're actually in some ways brilliant. And so, and I'm not saying I'm brilliant. I'm just saying, like, you got to embrace that, because that's how God made you. And because he made you that way, not to take it back to it, but on the wall behind you and on my daughter's bed at her college is something that you created because of your creativity and your willingness to try new things and all the different things that you've said. So we should, and that's what I'm learning to embrace through therapy, is this is how I'm made. And because of that, this is why I do the things I do. And we did not have that benefit 10, 20 years ago. Now we do. And so I think that helps get out of the forest a little bit and actually celebrate the nature that we're in, if that makes sense. I'm making this up as I go, but instead of feeling like we're in a dark forest, we actually get to step back and go, you know what, it's gorgeous in here, and look at those trees and look at the color and look at the nature, right? You know what I mean? I think it just brings clarity. And what I appreciate, and I think what that's what I was saying is I think because you do that socially, you're giving people the gift of going second by saying, hey, my day was terrible. My kids did X. My husband did Y. I did this. I did it. And it's funny, but at the same time, trust me, people see and know and I think even feel, you know what, my day was that way too. I just didn't put it on social media. Right. And so I think you're giving people a gift by doing that. And that's probably hard, but for you, it's almost therapeutic to say, hey, my day was terrible, or whatever it might be. Being real. Man, the world needs more people that'll be real.
Yeah, and helping me connect. And I do try to show the highs as much as I do the lows. Like, I sometimes, like, I don't want to, I'm trying not to brag about things, but if something really great happens, like, I like to share those too. Right. Like the highs and the lows. Like, all the billion things going on in my brain. Like, if I've been given this brain and this heart and this mind, like, I'm going to run with it. Right. I'm going to use it. If I'm just when I think I can't think of another idea, something else comes up. And it drives some people in my life crazy, but I'm like, that's what I've been given. And if I've been given that, there's a purpose behind 100%. It, whether it's something big or something small. My embroidery t-shirt quilt business I've had for the longest. Like, other than being a wife and being a mother, like, that's the longest thing I've ever done. I've had a podcast. I've had this Facebook page. I've had that. I used to have a bakery out of my house. Like, that creativity needs to go somewhere, and I'm going to put it somewhere positive and hope that I reach the right person. That was another thing, too, when I was talking about the quilting. Like, I'm not going to reach every single person. I see people in my timeline who have quilts made from other people. That's fine. That doesn't bother me because whoever is meant to come to me will come to me. I've actually had a couple quilts brought to me to have them fixed that were made by big. I won't give names out, but like if you Google t-shirt quilt, it'll be one of the first three that come up, which is not me. And maybe if you type in Hilliard, Ohio, I would come up. But there's some big companies that make. I guess they're more blankets than quilts, which there is a difference. I don't care if people use them interchangeably. But anyways, they brought them to me saying, I got this from so-and-so. I'm not happy with it. Can you redo it? Wow. And I've redone it. And as I'm stitching it out, I giggle because I get down to the tag and I would look at my husband. I'm like, look, this is from whatever so-and-so. Right. And anyways, again, another tangent. But yeah, I truly feel if I get an idea, I'm going to do something with it. I sometimes don't even wait 24 hours because that's part of my ADHD is more of a hyper-focus thing, like where I get obsessed with things. But I also know that about myself too, so I know how to reel it in. Well, I'm aware of it. I don't know that I know how to reel it in, but I know that I'm going to go overboard. Yep. Another thing along those lines, I'm very big on, if someone pops in your head, there's a reason, and reach out to them. for example, with you, when I was stuck in Charlotte the other day at an airport coming home from a hockey tournament, and while I was grumpy and tired and I wanted to be home and I was bummed that we missed our connecting flight, I'm like, I'm in Erin City. So like I took a picture of the barbecue place and I'm like, look where I'm stuck. But that helped me feel better. Like, anytime anyone comes to my mind, there's a purpose, I'll send a quick text. Just those little things, because you never know. I mean, there's a higher power, you know, God, the universe, whatever anyone believes in. There's a reason that they sparked, and I think my mind and my soul picks up on those things a lot more than maybe the average person. I think that's just part of my empath nature.
Sure.
That picks up on those things. Yeah.
I think, we're wired a certain way, and I think as people like us, as weird as that sounds to say that, people wired like us, there's a greater, I think our frequency is much tighter in tune with what's going on around us. Doesn't mean that everybody's not that way. Everybody is. Right. You know, for some people, they're more driven and more focused on one thing, or think everything is black and white, or everything is A or B. You know, and doesn't mean that they don't have that same ability. It's not like it's a superpower. They just aren't as in tune with it because they're looking at A or B, or black or white, or X or Y. You know, they're looking at things in a very structured way. Where I know, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I think when you're in the world we're in, it's a three-ring circus all the time, and yet we are in tune with all three rings and everything that's going on in all three rings. We know. We have, because we feel it, we see it, we sense it. Such a weird, and some people, we just lost like half the three people that listen, like two of them just logged off. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But the other one that's listening probably gets it totally. To be in our minds for just a minute. But you know what? That's how I think that's how the best things in life, again, go Google all the things that I talked about, all those different, acronyms that I used, or diagnosis, or whatever you want to call them. Go Google it and look at some of the names, because those were people that changed the world. And look, I'm not here to change the world. I'm here to influence my family and the people around me. And if I've done that, then, you know, I can rest easy the rest of my life. But it does keep me up at night. Did I do that? Did I, and you know what? I've tried a million things too, and they failed, and that's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm moving on to the next one. Like, my mind is firing. It's all gas, no brakes. That's what I say a lot. And I know you're very much the same way, and I appreciate that about you, because at the end of the day, you're making a difference in people's lives, and whether they know it, whether you've been told it, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you now, the Faces in Hilliard, all these different things, that's what we do, right? And that's, so anyway, I just appreciate you.
Right. Well, and I don't like to use the word fail. I don't mind if you do, but it's fine. But I think the things we try to do, it's not even a failure. It's like, it's just a season. For example, like my bakery that I did when I think my youngest was really little, but people need their baked stuff on Friday nights, on Saturdays, on, you know, for parties and things. And it just got to be too much. And I'm okay with stepping down from things, not failing, but being like, this is no longer serving me. This is no longer serving my family. I'm no longer putting the energy or the love into this like I want. Now, because I had my bakery, I spurred one of my friends, who she now has a bakery, and she has a storefront in the Cleveland area, and she's doing amazing. And it makes me tear up knowing that my thing that I did for 2 or 3 years has been a teeny tiny part of her building that for her family. Right. So like, it's never a failure. There's always a purpose. We always, there are way more people than 3 people listening to this. I actually have a note. I have a note here that that I write down during your podcast, that I'm like, I need to talk to Erin about that. First of all, cool it on talking about, your scores, your test scores, cool it on that. And also cool it on your 2 people, because there's more than 2 people. So no more. You're not allowed.
Heather, somewhere Heather is listening to this right now, and she's applauding, and she's saying, yes.
She's like, yes, Jen. Yeah. And I know, you and I, we talk down, we say things about ourselves that are not true, but we believe, but it's a work in progress for both of us. I understand that. I am not always in this chipper mood. Like I said last night, I was bawling about things. But I also let myself do that. I'm like, however I'm going to feel, I'm going to feel. Like, even last night, I was like, if I'm not in a good enough mood tomorrow to be with Aaron, I will just message him and say, hey, I'm not up for it. Luckily, I am. Everything, timing worked out. I know you've been asking me to do this for a while, and I wasn't in a place until I was. And then I was. And this day and this time worked out. I'm just going to go down my list now, if you don't mind.
Oh, no. That's more?
It's not bad.
There's more?
Huntington pens. Huntington pens are the best.
Pens are the best. They own the world.
Besides this podcast, this is now the third podcast that's talked about hockey. I had to give hockey a little bit of love because I know you're not anti-hockey, but I know you're more other sports, which is fine. Yeah. Do your thing. But I grew up with it. I married a hockey player. I have 2 more. I will be at the ice rink until I'm 80 years old. I didn't know that when I was a teenager. Oh, they're so cute out there. Now I'm stuck there all the time. I do love it. Mm-hmm. Anything in my life that I have a love-hate relationship with, that means it's really in my soul. So anyways, I just wanted to say hockey one more time.
Hockey, absolutely.
Yeah. So the t-shirt pillow story, that's already on here. Congratulations on your intramural championship. And
thank you.
And the last thing, I'm not a sport person at all. So I did 4th grade soccer where I had no clue where I was standing, where, I probably pretended I was sick so I didn't have to play. I like watching sports. I grew up in Bowling Green, and we had tickets to football and hockey. So that's what I grew up with. And then my husband played high school hockey, and then my boys play AAA hockey now. So sports are always around all the time at my house. But I don't play them. I just support the people I love who have the talent. So, and then the other thing I put on here was that you do Twitter and TikTok, and I do Facebook and Instagram.
There you go.
So we're covered in the social media.
I watch. I'm a TikTok consumer. I'm not. My daughter is much bigger on TikTok. I love TikTok. It cracks me. Honestly, it is the white box that I go to when I just need an escape, and it cracks. TikTok. Just so for anybody listening to this, if they're like, oh, TikTok. No, TikTok. Remember when America's Funniest Videos came out, and it was the funniest thing we've ever seen. So, and now I'm dating myself a bit, but you look forward to Sunday nights at 7:00 because you could for a half an hour just cry. You laugh so hard. That's TikTok for me. And there's a lot of garbage out there, but at the end of the day, I cry watching TikTok.
We need
They're
it.
Very funny.
Yeah,
they're wonderful.
Yeah, any laughter that we can find. I'm not. I don't know. I'm a good crier. I'm not I seem like I'm pretty bubbly right now, but this is my baseline is pretty mellow, baseline. I'm excited today. Might be a little more spunky than normal, but you get me fired up about some things, and I can get fired up about some things. But
you've sent me messages. It's all good. It's all good.
It's good to laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
well, I would recommend getting on TikTok, and again, when you first get on, I don't know, there's some algorithm, and trust me, at first, and I actually had to ask Cammie, our executive director, why do I keep getting videos about something that I don't want to see? And, and it happened to be, whether it was bikinis or whatever it was. I'm like, why am I getting these? I don't know why I'm getting this. And she was like, just swipe. And cause if you watch it, then they're going to think that you like those and you're going to get more of them. I'm like, cool. Right. So once I did that, then those were all gone. And now I can just enjoy the funny videos of people slipping on the ice or, hitting their head or, so yeah, it's kind of carved out. Just a TikTok tip from Cammie, that I learned, but no, I love it. It's funny. Yeah. I just, but I think, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for your passions, and that you've learned and are learning who you are and what makes what you can do with the talents and gifts. They're gifts. They are gifts, believe it or not. They are gifts. And so you've embraced and accepted that. And because of that, you have all the things that we've talked about and many, many more things that you've either tried or done or will try in the future. And because of that, you've made people's lives better. Again, a blanket. When you were saying, I remember I think it was when Bryn was born, you brought us baked goods.
That might have been the cookie, because that was. Where is she in school?
Junior.
A junior. So.
It was Bryn.
Probably.
And I think you've done it more than once. That's just the one that I remember.
Probably.
But, baked goods to somebody's home, that means the world to them. Whether or not it's a business, it doesn't matter. Like, what you do is you continue to put good things back into the world. And there's not enough of that right now, and I appreciate that. One more thought on TikTok. Again, this is how our brains work, right? I saw a tweet yesterday. I was actually telling Heather about this morning, and it was talking about how the parent was talking to their child about what's going on in the world right now with where we're at with the war and things like that. And her line at the bottom of this tweet just caught me by surprise, and it said something like, "Talk to your kids about what's happening in the world right now, because if you're not, TikTok already did."
Right.
Wow. So back to TikTok, where our kids, not to go on a rant, but our kids are being raised or are learning things or getting their news or information from TikTok. So boy, we got to talk to our kids. Right. Okay. Rant over. But as we're talking about TikTok, keep in mind.
Well, to that point though, my senior and my freshman both came to me about the Ukraine and the war yesterday before I had even opened my mouth. I mean, I kind of know what's going on. I'm not a huge political person. I don't like watching the news. I will go to certain sources. I will go to certain people who I trust, like in my core, to get information, because there's just so much untruth out there and what's real and what's not, and blah. I can't sort it all. But both of my children, my daughter, she said, "It's so sad what's going on." And I said, yes. And then my other one asked, is this going to start World War III? And I'm like, I honestly don't know. I don't know. But they had both, because they're in that generation of TikTok and Snapchat and all that, they are being presented with it. And where as an adult now, and they can too, but I'm more aware of what I allow into my brain. So, but just on that account, if you're not telling them, they already know.
Get it from somebody else. So, at least let that voice be yours.
Right.
Well, you are the best. That you've been a huge supporter of us before I started a podcast, before any of everything else. You actually send me messages on episodes and different pieces that you pick up in those episodes. And that means a lot to me, because then I know that somebody's listening, and I won't say what you said on my list.
Don't say a number.
I won't say it, but no, it's always good to know. I think any podcaster would probably tell you that. Maybe not Joe Rogan, because he's got bazillions of people, but for those of us that are,
that's a whole other story now, right?
Right. But for those of us that are doing this, to have someone reach out and say, hey, that episode really hit me, or I had two people from the last one text me and say I bought the book for the author that I had on, and it's just those means something, because we're not all out here I'm not out here just to do this. I don't want to be self-promoting by any means. So to know that we're putting good stuff out into the world and introducing people to people like yourself.
You are going to reach exactly who you're meant to reach. Right. God is going to put whoever is meant to hear it, just like he's going to bring whoever needs to come to me for quilts. Right. He's going to put you're going to be in whoever's ears that need to hear you. When you were talking, was it the last episode with how you heard God's voice saying perfect for Bryn? Right. And I too, my oldest, a girl and a boy, so we had one of each. We debated on a third. We're like, do we not? Well, I didn't hear anything, thing in the delivery room, probably because I was the one, pushing him out. He, daily, he is like my little soul. He always says, "Mom, am I your favorite?" I'm like, I don't have favorites. Right. You're all special in your own way. Like, don't put me in that box. But daily, he says things. He feels me. He feels my heart. He feels my soul. He can tell when I need a hug. Right. daily I'm reminded that he is a gift, that they're all gifts. But just kind of along the lines of, that perfect, that Bryn, like she completed your family. That's with my Weston, like he was meant to be like, and I wasn't sure if we wanted a third, but every day I'm reminded, like, yes, like he is 100 billion% supposed to be part of our family. And that's, just a gift that I get every day. So I connected with that too. I didn't message you about that, but now I'm telling you.
Thank you.
So.
Well, I'll say it again. You're the best, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because I know how hard it is to, number one, start a business. Number two, do the work that you're doing. But also, we've talked about a lot of different things, and maybe I'm not allowed to say this, on this, I don't know, but it's even harder when we're fighting the battles that we fight outside the lines. It's even harder. And I think to be able to push through the noise to get to the real core of how you were made, and you've done that. You've done that in a few different ways, and the world is better because of all the things that you do, and your friendships are better, and your family's better, and keep being real. And thank you for your gifts over the years, many gifts over the years, but just thank you for being you. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I'm trying to do my thing, and like I said, if something's on your heart, there's a reason, and we don't have to know exactly why or where it's going to go, but there's a reason it's been placed on our heart, and
yeah. All right, last time.
And I'm proud of you too. Like I'm proud of you for doing all your. Yeah, sometimes we just have to take a leap of faith and see where it goes, and. Your business and my business, it might last 20 years, it might last 2 weeks, it's whatever it's supposed to do, it's gonna do. And we're gonna be surrounded by people who support us, and we're gonna have a team. We're gonna have that core people who cheer us on, our cheerleaders, and yeah.
All right, last time, all the links.
Yeah, so basically littlebeanembroidery.com. And then that's the same for Instagram and Facebook, just Little Bean Embroidery. And then Faces of Hilliard is on Facebook and Instagram. And
they could,
if you want to connect with me personally, it's Jen Hoening, JenHoening. If I get a friend request and I see that you're connected to Aaron somehow, I have a lot of friends on Facebook, but it's my network, it's my avenue. So if you're a total stranger and I can't figure out where you're friend requesting me from, I probably won't accept. But if I'm oh, here's somebody from Unscripted, because I do share a lot of the stuff on my personal page. And there are some posts that I put public so everybody can see, but it's mostly private. But again, I have a big network of people there, and I don't mind sharing the dirt, the sun and the light, and the hard stuff and the good stuff and the real life stuff and the parenting stuff and the anxiety and depression and just all of it. Right. It's I'm getting it all for a reason. Right. You know what I mean? Right. It's there. And if it's going to be hard and messy, I'm going to do something good with it. Mm-hmm. If I've been dealt crappy stuff, or I'm going to put it out into the world, and I'm going to use my skills and my talents to help other people too. So big or small. Right.
Well, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for everything you do.
Course.
And I'm going to go find out who turned my pillow turned my T-shirt into a thrift store. No, I'm kidding. I'm from Cleveland. It's personal now. No, I'm kidding.
No, it was the one down here on Hilliard Rome. So it was the one over here by the Goodwill by. I don't know if that matters either, because I think when you donate stuff, they send them out. But it was meant for me. It was meant for me to give back to you and to have that story. So
and now it's mine. It found its way home, which is so awesome. Yeah. So I love that story, and now it has even a bigger story. So thank you for everything you do.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Well, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me on and being patient with all the timing. Timing works itself out too. So
that's right. All right. So find Jen. Support her business, and thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Unscripted podcast with your host, Aaron Conrad, from his studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard. Make ssure to like, share, follow, and review on your favorite podcast platforms. Also, make sure to check out my song Great and Mighty One on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you find your music. We'll see you next time on Unscripted with Aaron Conrad.